Hello. Hey, friends. Hey, fish friend. Let me put this down. Can you hear? Can you see? Is this fun? Okay, good. All right. Howdy, friends. Today, thank you for joining me. Today, we are going to talk about cash flows, statement of cash flows. Sorry, the camera is weird today. I'm on the floor. Hey, friends. Oh, hey, Gabe. Good to see y'all. Good to see Fish. Wow, lots of viewers today. Thank you for joining. Yeah, this is recorded. Yes, I mean, you can come back later and watch it. Watch the stream on the streams. They all stay. Okay, okay. Let me know if you can't hear me in some way. But anyway, also, if you can't see anything, I'm going to try to make this look nice on here. I probably look like I weigh 1,000 pounds with the camera right in my face, but trust me, I have been on a diet. I'm on Nutrisystem. I think we'll do another session about Nutrisystem one of these days. Anyway, thanks for joining. Today we're talking about cash flows, like the statement of cash flows. Someone was actually asking me the other day how I manage all of the money that comes through the Duck Empire. As you can imagine, there's a lot of money. That doesn't mean I have a lot of money by any means, but it does mean that I deal with a lot of money. And it's absolutely crucial to be organized when you're dealing with this kind of money, this kind of cash flows. And so I'm going to give you a little insight into my world, and also just some general tips for anyone who's in the churning game. That's really what the audience that this is meant for, those who churn credit cards, use credit cards for miles and points. It's a wonderful, amazing way of getting free travel and all kinds of free, amazing things. But if it's not done correctly and you make a mistake, and believe me, I've made every single mistake there is to make. And so that's why I'm here to give you some of my tips that I've dealt with along the way. Hopefully talking with you for about an hour could save you hundreds of hours of pain, thousands of dollars of loss. So hopefully you can stick with me, and of course getting me my hours for my YouTube monetization goal. Then we help each other. Okay, then we'll help each other. Okay, so yeah, looks like there's quite a crowd here today. Feel free to ask questions. I can see the scrolling comments. I don't know if you can see them where you are, but because I didn't do the vertical thing on the YouTube, and whatever, I'm doing the best I can. But I can see your comments even if you can't. So feel free to having a nice drink. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions along the way that that you've been wondering about. And like I said, I've done it all. I've done it. Yeah, I've done it all. So let's get started. When we're talking the credit card game, it's very simple to think, if you've watched other YouTubes or you've talked to people or you've read forums, that it's just something as easy as taking a credit card, turning it into something, and then paying off the card. It could be, but you want to make some more money off of that and some more miles off of it. It's going to get more complex than that. So I remember when my realtor was looking through my finances, they were shocked at the labyrinthine world of finances that I dealt with. And finally, I was like, you know what? I have cash. I'm using PayPal Key. Let's just put the deposit on that and not even deal with the banks or whatever. So that was kind of funny, because when people look at your finances and they see just these massive amounts coming and going, it can certainly make people think, oh, are you up to something, or are you doing something illicit? And of course, we're not. We're very innocent. We just deal with credit cards and points and miles games that are, very, very legal, but they look strange. Okay, so we certainly want to minimize how bad they look and keep you safe and keep you in the game as long as possible, so that banks don't shut you down, so that credit cards don't shut you down, so you're not paying interest, because there are so many obstacles along the way, and one wrong move can be detrimental. Okay, so that's where we sort of start to talk about this. And I have this makeshift thing. I mean, I do have a whiteboard back here, but I didn't know if you could see it. It just is kind of ugly, and I need to epoxy it, but whatever. Okay, but I put this here. It's very nice. I'm resourceful. That's what churners are. We're resourceful people. All right, so this is going to get kind of messy, but like I said, feel free to ask questions, and let's start at the beginning. A good place to start. I put here, I like to start with businesses. Do you have a business? The Duck does. I have several. So let's say you're dealing with eBay. I go thrifting a lot. I also do Amazon resale. Of course, gift card resale. I'm even wearing my special gift card t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. It's beautiful. Ask me about gift cards. You love it. Okay, so I'm constantly working with my businesses, and the businesses obviously pay me, right? So here's how they pay me. They pay me like the Amazon and whatnot. They'll pay to usually my business checking, okay? Are you writing this down? All right. Business checking. Okay. Once you get things in business checking, now some of you are actually my clients, and you've probably heard me say something like, if you have a certain account, that's better for me, because then I don't have to transfer it to some other account and I can just pay you directly. Well, that's what I mean when I say that. So my business checking is valuable because I can move large amounts of money around, and the bank knows that it's for a verified business, and so it's safe, and it's easy for me to move around lots of big amounts of money. Always first, like I say, people first. So my clients, really, the people who supply me, a lot of my runners or aggregatees, as I call them, they get paid first, because people are important. They have bills to pay. I'm the duck. I'm smart. I can find ways of getting cash to take care of my credit cards and whatever. But people first, always. That's very important to me. After that, and I usually pay about 20 batches a day to clients and people. And then, that takes hours and hours and hours. And when I'm done with that and I'm completely exhausted, then I'll move on to some of my own bills. So then, I don't know how legible this is, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. Here, I like to talk about personal checking. And I'm gonna call this number one. Many of us have multiple checking accounts. Different banks have different weight in our eyes, and so that's very important that you separate your primary bank from your fluff banks, the ones where you do money orders and you have you're a little more credit card journey with. Those that you might get shut down from, those are your checking number twos, as I call them. The ones where, but this is like your primary one, and you want to be careful because like you're paying your mortgage on it and your kids' tuition or whatever people have, and that's the important one that you want to be careful with. Personal checking number two is usually more fun. That's where you're, like I said, dealing with your credit card and your miles, maybe money orders, and other fun adventures. So that's sort of how I handle that. And like I said, from personal checking number one, you'll want to do your personal items, your Mercedes taxes. You also have to pay from that. But I don't really think there's anything else people pay for, right? Because, I mean, maybe rent, I don't know. What else do people pay for? Not food, right? Because you get that at the Centurion Lounge, so you're not paying for food. Not travel, because you're getting that for free with your miles and your credit cards. Entertainment, well, I mean, Amex pays you for free, gives you those things for your streaming services. And when you're comped in Vegas, they let you go see Carrot Top for free. So honestly, there's you should have very minimal these things. You shouldn't be paying for anything. I hate when people say, "Oh, look, I went shopping and I bought this." It's like, why? You know, it's the world. Everything is free. So what are you doing? So I guess things that you really can't get out of, maybe like electricity and water. I can't. Definitely not food. I mean, come on. Okay, food, that's all free. Okay. So you've paid those horrible little bills that you can't get out of, right? But you've tried. At least you've tried. Then here, you're going to want to pay, could be from either of these really, your credit cards. Kreditkarten. That's my favorite word in German. Okay. Also, kostenlos. That means free. Okay. So credit cards. You'll want to pay your credit cards. Where do the Cayman Islands fit in? Can you see that? Oh, okay. I have a list of every country I've been to. So I just keep a running list here on my whiteboard in my office. So lest I forget. Oh, did you see the word Cayman Islands on the board? Maybe you did. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. The Cayman Islands. But no, maybe you were joking and you meant like a bank in the Cayman Islands, in which case, no, I don't. No, we don't have to do that. We're not hiding anything. Okay, so you've got your credit cards. Now, credit cards are very powerful, as we know, because they can get you those miles and points. But really, you shouldn't be, I wouldn't recommend paying them right away. I mean, if you usually have like a 45-day time limit for when your statement is due, I would say don't pay it until maybe a few days before, you know, especially with Citibank, they'll get you on those weekends. You know, money should never be sleeping. So if you've got additional cash, you should be doing something with it, in my opinion, rather than just giving it back to the credit card. But of course, do pay it on time so that you can avoid interest and all that. Okay. Now, here, sometimes you can turn this into cash, like with your Amex points. If you have let's say this is your Schwab account right here, which is I would recommend as a good primary checking. So in some cases, when you've earned, you can get some cash rewards, right? I just went to pick up my cash rewards from Costco for the year. And so, cash rewards are fine. I don't value them as much as, the miles and, staying at the Hyatt for these thousands of dollars upgrades and huge meals, and then getting upgraded to first class on Delta with, sitting in a pod on American Airlines. But everyone's different. Everyone values things different. So do what's best for you. But yes, you can turn some of that cash and put it into your checking. That's from the rewards. Let's see. Sometimes you can do some credit card plays. Obviously, that's what we do. Maybe you'll do money orders, right? So if you're working with maybe getting a Visa gift card and turning it into a money order, or just getting a straight money order directly. So here you might have a VGC, Visa gift card, or just go directly to money order. In which case, the money order would go straight to your not so primary checking account to pay that, and then of course that will go back to paying the credit card later. So that's a fun little thing. Of course, there are some other plays, and these I can't really get into, so please understand. I'll get banned from several forums, but there may be some plays where it's like credit card, and then it just sort of bounces right back without the need of a checking account. So I'll put here there's some certain plays that are like direct. So an example of some may be working with PayPal Bill Pay or Citi Bill Pay. There are a few ways of doing that with systems like Takeus or Melio or various others that I cannot get into. But if you read about them, then you'll understand how they work, and sort of go from a credit card with a certain little play and go directly back to the credit card. Those are very interesting, and there's places you can find what those are. Okay, so obviously the one that I am most interested in, and you should be too, is gift cards. So you've got your gift cards here. Gift cards are wonderful. Obviously, you should be selling them to the Duck. Or if you're your own aggregator, you can put them on the gift card market the way I do. And of course, in that sense, once you've sold them, that money goes back to your business way up here. And then from here, it'll flow down. Again, clients first, then your checking, pay off your personal bills, whatever. Give yourself that wait time before going back to the credit card. Where can I focus? Is Amex okay with the money order purchases? Very good question. The question is Amex as the bank, the checking account. I would say do not play with that with Amex's business checking. But as for an Amex credit card, they won't really know that you're doing a money order, right? If you're going to get a Visa or some kind of gift card first. Let's say you go to your local grocery store and you charge a $500 gift card and, throw in some bananas and apples or whatever. And then you later turn that card into a money order, perhaps at Walmart or certain other grocery stores that will work with that. And then from there, you'll take it there. So Amex won't really know that Visa card, it's really also none of their business. So who cares what you bought the Visa gift card? You can do with it what you want. It's up to the next vendor to honor that card in some way. So all Amex will really might care about is that you're spending too much at the grocery store, something like that. Okay. uh, so once you've got your gift cards, that's important. But then, now here I explained a little bit about cash rewards, but cash rewards are not the only thing you're going to get. So this is where the fun comes in. And I don't even know if this is showing up here, but here's the fun. So here's where you're going to get your flights, your hotels, booze when you go to the lounges, food. That's what I get. There's various other rewards, like I said, entertainment. I mean, I really see no financially interesting way of getting these things without getting them for free. I mean, really, when you can, I think you should. So use your credit. Once you've played all of these, made all these plays, then you can start to enjoy them. I travel every single week, and it's always free. And I get everything I want: the hotels, anything I want to drink, food, free shows, the comps. It's wonderful. It's amazing. And it all comes from these rewards here. So these would be, other rewards, which it's almost always travel rewards. So you've got here your cash rewards, you've got your travel rewards. You want to go to Paris and stay at a very nice Hyatt and go business class like the Duck, and just because it's the weekend, well, now you can, because why not? Because it's free. Do it. Okay. Then, of course, here we have cash. Cash, as we know, is king. That's what they say anyway. Cash can't really get you all of these, but eventually everything does flow to cash. Let me get another marker. Okay. So cash is king. And there's a lot you can do with it. You know me, I like to go to Vegas every week, or New Orleans or wherever I decide to go. Usually here I'll do my plays in Vegas. So I'll do some blackjack or poker, a little buffalo. Who doesn't love a good buffalo? That sort of thing. Now, I limit myself because I don't want to lose my money, and I'm very conservative. If you've ever seen my videos, I'll play with like 40 or 50 bucks, a little more when it's with blackjack. But I never withdraw cash in Vegas. I've heard of people who've gotten shut down from their Schwab account because they're going to Vegas, and then it just shows ATM, 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 and Schwab is like, this person's going to run out of money, and they're a risk. So I don't play that. So my rule is I always have 1,000 at all times. So this weekend I was in Vegas. I was comped at Caesars, and I didn't make very much money. I made $300, right? So this was actually $1,300 when I got back. So first thing I did, because I'm not holding on to that much cash. Cash is king, but cash is also dangerous, is I immediately went and deposited it. And you want to be careful where you deposit your cash. I've been shut down by banks before for depositing too much cash into their accounts, and they're like, where's this money coming from? Are you some bad person? Of course I'm not. It was just, a little Vegas here and there. But for the most part, you really want to keep these online transfer records. You want to do ACH whenever possible. I pay a lot of people, and I'm not going to pay them in cash because that looks bad for them. I'm paying people, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for gift cards or whatever. So that looks bad for them. So what's better is if it's an electronic, like it's a wire, it's an ACH, it's something clean, it has a record, it shows that it came from a a good eligible business, and so it has a nice clean line. Cash, like I said, you want to be careful with. Banks don't trust it as much as you think they would. They want to see records of everything. They want things to flow. So use it sparingly, but also don't hold on to too much of it. So I'll be in Vegas again this weekend, and I have a little cash. It's for entertainment purposes. It's fine. I will probably make some money because I have really good strategies, I think. But there is also the chance that I might lose it. But in the grand scheme of things, a small loss would not hurt me. And as long as you view it as entertainment, and of course with all the comps and everything I get, I take a lot more from Vegas than I give them. Trust me. So that's something I'd be careful with, but also, like I said, don't hold on to it. I had 1,300, so immediately first thing I did during my lunch break was I skimmed. I got rid of that $300 overage, and I put it away and used it to pay a bill or something like that. You never know, you could lose it while walking to your local Walmart or Target, just lose it in the middle of the street, and that would be very, very dangerous. Of course, I also do a lot of cruises, as some of you know. Cruises can be very interesting, and they're a whole different play from this. But basically with cruises, you can take your credit card and you can pay for your cruise, and you can also pay for your casino withdrawals, all from a credit card, which is amazing, right? So last time I was on Holland America and Norwegian and Royal Caribbean, like I took out $30,000, around 30,000. They'll usually let you take out $5,000 and charge it to the room, right? So when the bill comes that gets charged to the credit card, for me, my stays are comped at the cruises because of the gambling from Vegas over here. So if the cruise is free, they'll maybe charge like $100 or $200 for taxes, and that's fine. Or it's like $100 for tax and then another $100 for gratuities. So that'll be what should be on my credit card, but the credit card is actually, not just one credit card, because you can split them. So it'll usually be like $30,000 plus $200, right? And it's like, wow, you must have stayed in some really nice room. And I was like, sure, it was nice because it was free. But all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or whatever with $30,000 in my cabin. And, who knows if like the Titanic or whatever, so there's an icebergs, then that could all just go down to the bottom of the ocean. So like I said, getting that kind of cash is pretty amazing because it earns huge amounts of credit card points. But then the idea of losing it with no protection that the banks would give you could be really devastating. So you want to be careful with that. So like as soon as I got off the boat, or even when you're at a stop, just go to a bank if you can find one and just rid yourself of this horrible, horrible cash and pay off these other things as you need to. And yeah, like I said, keep the cash to a minimum. So this is sort of how I start my morning. As I start every morning, I look at the balances on each of these, especially these big ones right here. I want to see how much money did I make last night from Amazon or eBay or Raise or Flues or whatever. Then what'll I do with it? I have to pay my people first. Maybe it's the end of the month. I may have to pay rent or whatever taxes. It's tax season right now, right? Do I have any money in my personal checking? How are my other plays doing? Do I have money orders just sitting around the house? Do I have Visa gift cards just sitting around the house? Have I not completed these plays? Did I do maybe 10,000 here and then just left it here and didn't remember to put it back? What's my gift card balance? Do I have, did the duck say go buy $3,000 of Apple at Target and then you just bought them and then left them in the corner of your house? Some of you all do that. Like a month goes by and then you're like, oh, by the way, here they are. And it's like, what were you doing? That's money. Money is, never let money sleep. Here's a question we have. Is the cruise casino play more beneficial on a specific card? That's a good question. I'd say probably not, but in some cases you'll be charged some transaction fees, maybe like 3%. I know that's what Norwegian does, but they don't all do that. Mostly I wouldn't even bother if it's not for a welcome bonus. So if you just got your new credit card, like me, I just got my very, very special Frontier. That's a manatee on the card. You're welcome. And so it has I have to spend some money on it right away. And so go do your spend on these kinds of casinos, cruises. I would not board a cruise if you haven't opened maybe one or even two new credit cards. Get them open before you board so that you can do your spend on the cruise. That's my opinion for that. So that's, like I said, that's how I sort of do it. I also have another chart that shows payouts that are due, right? So I need to keep track because obviously I have, I can't even count them, maybe like 50 or 60 active credit cards that all have spend on them right now. And I have to keep a calendar that says when they're due. So I can't be playing around in Vegas and whatever with this cash that needs to go on that credit card. So maybe I'll skip it that weekend. Or I'll think, you know what, I have some gift cards that I need, or some Amazon candy that I really need to sell this week because I have about 10 more days for when my Ritz-Carlton credit card is due. So I keep that very, very prominent and check it every morning to see what's due for the next day. Here's another question. When you say don't let money sleep, if you have 0% inks, would you throw that money into something like a high yield savings account until it's due? I still wouldn't. Because before you know it, that 0% will be over. And you'll want, but if it's like for a year or something, then yeah, put it in a savings account. If you've got that Apple savings with the, what is it, like 4.5%, you do it up until the maximum. Usually they'll tell you, oh, but only the certain amount. Yeah, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I also I fund my my Discover. Now, Discover is kind of interesting. I would say that may even be like a personal checking 3. If you have a Discover, because they will let you do, they'll give you 1% cash back on like your first 1,000 or 2,000. I can't even, something like that. So you'll get like your first 3,000, I think. So you'll get like $30 on this account, but you can use it for your debit. You can use your debit card on it. So in this case, you have a debit with your Discover, right? And Discover is not the only one that does this. And you can use it directly to buy a money order, right? Because it is a real debit card. It's not like these strange Visa gift cards that are that some places won't let you do it. So you've got your money order, and then you've earned your $30 for the month. You can't really deposit that money back into there. So here's where you'll use something like your second personal checking, and then you'll transfer that money to your Discover. But in order to keep this play going, you need to have like $3,000, right? Something like that. Because each time this 3,000 needs to be in this Discover, I'll call this Discover. Then you have to use it on the debit card. The debit card has to buy the money order, and then you have to pay, and it goes around and round and round like this. So all of a sudden you need 3,000 in cash like all the time. Well, like I said, never let money sleep. So if you've got something going on over here and you can wait, why not take that money, play this game or one of many others, and then after you've collected your $30, then pay this off, you know? Or like me, maybe it's a lot of money. Maybe you want to enjoy a little blackjack with it. Just a little, okay? Don't go crazy. There are many other ways of doing interesting things with cash. Some people rent out their credit cards to people. But in order to do that, they usually will hand them the cash to say, here, can you do this so that I can earn the miles because I don't have that credit card or something like that. So they might want to hand them cash up front so that someone can do a play. And once you've got your miles, your points, your cash, whatever, then pay this off because you're given that time, and time is money, and you don't need to pay the credit cards right away unless you're the kind of person who it's risque. And but like I said, if you keep things very organized and you've got a good chart and you know where the money is, you can probably be very safe. Next question. It's 13 months. Oh yeah, 13 months. Yeah, sure. For an Inc. for 13 months, 0%. Just, be careful. But again, you're going to hit those limits on the card, and there's nothing worse than a limit. Now, because then you're not able to earn. So one of my favorite plays that I do is with my City Prestige card, and the problem, or a City Double Cash as well. The problem is that all of a sudden I reach the limit, and then you can't do anything. Now, with Chase and Amex, you can probably do something sort of called cycling. Chase, I would not do it more than twice, especially on an Inc. But Citibank, you can never cycle, so or you will get shut down. So having all of that cash and paying right away is not always a good idea. Not only are you not using that to make more money, but you could be endangering your card by paying quickly and trying to do more churning. If you do that, which is called cycling, maybe once or twice a month, you could get shut down. So be very careful with how you pay. Like I said, certainly don't pay any sooner than that if you can. What's the backup plan if you get sick or worse? Well, that's a good question. Do you have all this written out? I certainly do. I have will, I have medical power of attorney, and a financial power of attorney. That's all very important. I have all of this sort of written out in here in my office with ability for close family members to be able to handle some of those things. Now with my businesses, I'm usually okay. Let's say I got sick or something. People can still take their gift cards because I don't pre-buy gift cards from people. When you get paid, that's when I start putting them on the market. So if you've given me a gift card and it's been a few weeks, or if I'm sick or whatever, you can take it back. So that doesn't mean that I've sold it and the money is just sitting in my account and I'm just having fun with it. I don't play that game. So I don't buy it and I don't sell it until I've bought it. So I think that is a good kind of safety net for any of my clients that I work with. But for the most part, yeah, like I said, I don't really have many bills. And so if I'm sick, then I guess the Mercedes can just deal with itself and get repossessed or something. Who knows? Okay. There's another question. Can you break down what cycling means, please? Yes, I hope I didn't go through that too quickly. Cycling is when you try to break the monthly credit cycle. So if your bank, in this case, Barclays, which is a horrible, horrible bank, if they give you $10,000 to spend in a month, and you spend 9,000 of it on Melio or Takeus or Kashish or one of these other little things, or gift cards for the duck, or one of these plays, if you spend all of that and then you're like, well, I want to spend some more. I want to spend $20,000 this month on my Frontier Manatee card. Well, if you try that and you pay Barclays right away and then your balance is back down to zero and then you go and do it again, you're basically telling the bank, look, I know you said that you would give me a $10,000 credit limit, but I decided that I'm smarter than you and I am going to do $20,000 this month and you're just going to deal with it. And you're going to be okay with it because I paid it all back. Well, they still don't like that, whether you paid them or not, right? And so what you're doing is you're called cycling. You're breaking the cycle. You're using more of the bank's money than you were allotted to use. Some banks are a little more lenient than others. Like I mentioned, you could probably do it twice a month. You can pay twice, pay the balance on Chase, but I still wouldn't do it. Chase is just so valuable. Maybe use that for like Synchrony Bank or just like some weird little whatever banks, but definitely don't do that with Citibank. They certainly do watch people who do that. So if your Citi Double Cash only gives you $2,000 in the month of March, then that's all you have to spend. Once you've done it, you can't pay it off right away and then try to spend some more for another 2% in your cash rewards, because it's not going to work. They will shut you down. So don't do that. If you've got $2,000, well then your real problem is, how do you convince the bank to give you a higher limit? That's what you should focus on. Do not focus on breaking the limit they gave you, breaking the allotment they gave you, and trying to get some more. Anyway, you shouldn't need to, because you should have hundreds of credit cards like the Duck does, and you always have a way to be getting miles and points and that sort of thing. So that's sort of, well, that's what cycling means. And as you can see here, it would be pretty easy, especially if you're flush with cash. Maybe you sold a whole lot of Peeps on Amazon that you bought for 60 cents and you're selling for $15 each, something like that. It does happen. And all of a sudden you've got so much cash, you're like, oh, I'm going to pay off my credit cards and then do this, and get more miles. Well, you can't really, so use that money for clients, use that money for maybe your money order play with Discover, use it for, something else, or pay off your rent, or it's tax season, pay your taxes, but don't overpay those. Yeah, I would not do that. It's dangerous. Of course, don't pay for any of these things either, not your flights or hotels. It's just, why would you do that? They're supposed to be free. Yeah, so this is my little morning. This is what I have with coffee in the mornings. And I just sort of look at everything and see, am I doing okay? Is everyone doing okay? Are the banks doing okay? Are my gift cards okay? How are they handling the market? You might also be doing a little stock market, especially if you took those credit card rewards, those Amex rewards, and put them in your Schwab account, because you get 1.1% if you do that rather than just 1%. And then once you've got that money, maybe you can use it in your Schwab for the brokerage and play a little stock market, because you have some cash and you don't let cash sleep ever. So what are you going to do with that cash now that it's sitting around here? After you took it from Amex and their rewards, You've got the cash. Don't let it sleep. Don't pay Amex right away. Enjoy the cash. Use it maybe for a little stuff, but of course, be very careful. That can be horrible and detrimental and a financial catastrophe if you're not smart and you haven't done your research and you're not conservative, that sort of thing. But if you know what you're doing and you're very careful, then yeah, I recommend enjoying a little, a little stock market, a little investing. That investing can be good in some cases, not all. Another question. How can a beginner start to build cash flow, especially on a tight budget and other bills? And that's a very good question. Well, once you've got other businesses and other income sources coming in, that can kind of change the landscape of your finances. But really, just think of what this part tells you. This part right here especially, this checking to 45 days to credit card to Visa gift card, right? This is a really interesting way. I'm saying interesting. I'm not saying that I condone this or that it's amazing or whatever, but you can kind of create a system of almost unlimited float, is what I call it, the theory of unlimited float. So if you take a credit card and you buy a $500 Visa gift card, right? You've taken the bank's money and you've, in a lateral way, you've taken out a little mini loan, in a sense, right? Because now you have $500 in cash. Now that Visa gift card is really, that's what we call a cash equivalent, right? So let's say you're a little strapped for cash, or maybe you have a bill to pay. Let's say you put this Visa gift card on an Amex, right? But your Chase card is due tomorrow, right? So rather than take that money order to pay off your Amex, you pay the first one in priority. You pay the Chase, right? And then you take the Chase card, now that that's paid off, and you buy a Visa gift card here, and then you pay off that one. The whole term, the pay Peter to pay Paul thing, steal from whatever. If you get in a good rhythm and you're very careful about it and you don't let any of the balls drop anywhere around here, you could have, in theory, unlimited float for one to the other, bouncing off ad infinitum. Eventually, they all have to be paid, but this is a way of getting started, right? It's a way of getting the ball rolling. Once you're making lots of money from your cash rewards and all of your businesses and everything, then things will come into place and you can easily pay off your credit cards and pay off your people and pay off everything. And then it just becomes fun. And then you have some FU money for Vegas and and all of a sudden it's fun. But it takes a long time. Like it took me like 10 years to get here. So please don't feel too like it's something that can't be done. It can be done, but it just takes a little while, and you can do it, and you probably do it better than I can. And like I said, I made a lot of mistakes to get to a system like this, but yeah, it can work. You just have to really be very organized, and you have to prioritize what's due when. Like I said, people first, always. Then credit cards, well, they can be due when they're due, you know. And when you do things like this, you do these kinds of plays, maybe with like a Visa gift card, you've basically taken cash out and you can use that to pay off like the Chase or the Citi or whatever from Amex. So in that weird sense, you've used an Amex card to pay off a Citi card, right? You've done something like that. And then once you've done that, you've recreated a new 45-day system for your next credit card. So, like I said, this can go on and on and on and years, and you've avoided paying interest, and you've been able to pay your other bills. But of course, really, this world of high stakes churning the most appropriate fit of a person is someone who's doing sort of well with their finances. So something like this is definitely not a place for a beginner. But if you start small in this one little corner right here, over time you can get to this. So it is doable. Oh, another question. Biggest mistake. Oh yes, I've made many. I was shut down by several banks. I was never shut down by some of the ones that a lot of people were. So I do have some. Wells Fargo and I can't even talk about them. Wells Fargo did not like what I was, the kind of cash that I was doing. I'd say that's probably my biggest mistake. When before when I was just starting my gift card business, I was paying people from my Wells Fargo business checking. And right in the middle of it, when I had like $1 million I needed to pay off, they just closed the account. And I think the mistake that I made in that case was I was just doing too much cash. So back then, I used to have this rule where I would pay everyone the next day, which which did not work, because the way I made it work was that I would go to my business checking, my Wells Fargo, and I would take out cash. And then from the cash, I would put it into another checking account and pay people with that quickly, maybe through PayPal or something. And then PayPal shut me down too. Okay. So I think my biggest mistake was using large cash deposits and withdrawals that just freaked the banks out. And I get it. I see why. They don't really know where that money's coming from. It didn't have these clean lines to it. Obviously, the money was good. It was perfectly innocent and fine. But they don't know that. And so the banks want to keep themselves safe. And so they'll just shut you down, and they'll shut down all of your cards along with it. Barclays shut me down. They did not like that I went to Simon Mall a bunch of times and bought $500. Then I was starting to buy $1,000 Visa gift cards over and over and over and over again. And it's at the mall, so each one of them looked like a gift card purchase. They didn't have apples and oranges padding down the receipt, and it clearly looked like like I was buying Visa gift cards to maybe pay something else off. And I put those on my Barclays. I didn't care. And one day I just got a little letter that says, "We don't like what you were doing at Simon Mall, and you can't sit with us." So, fine. They shut me down. It wasn't the end of the world. But years later, 5 years to be exact, they finally, that's why, I know it sounds funny, but that's why I'm so I got my Manatee card. I'm so happy they either forgot, or they've forgiven me, or they need more money. Who knows what their problem is. But they let me back in. So, but it was kind of devastating. And I've had local banks shut me down too. The ones where I actually make the deposits of the money orders. But they're just credit unions, and then they'll send you a check for what's left, and then it's like, whatever, they're just a dumb little bank. So then I'll move on to the next one. So, they had an opportunity to make money off of me, and they chose to squander it. They're never going to get, home loans or HELOCs or whatever from me, and they'll never get my business. So I hope they're happy because I did a money order. Oh my God. I was like, sorry. What's that term when you don't have, I'm unbanked. I don't know. It's like, let me do what I want to do. Here's another question. Which banks have been the friendlier business checking accounts in your opinion? The most friendly ones are probably PNC. I would say that's probably the most friendly one that I've had. Let me see what other one works. I really like the Amex one, but I wouldn't do half of these things with them. I wouldn't even attempt to do anything with them. But I do like PNC Bank, and I'd recommend them. They're very business friendly. They see that my money is legitimate. It comes from my businesses. But also I've learned my lessons. So I haven't deposited one penny in cash to PNC Bank, and they are very happy with that, because they don't want to see cash. I don't know why. No one wants to see cash. So, when I sell my gift cards or my candies or whatever, that money it goes straight from Amazon, directly into the business. And the PNC checking likes to see an Amazon. They don't want to see $20,000 cash, 20,000. They don't want to see that. So you just have to see it from their point of view. I haven't made that mistake again, so that's why I think they're friendly with me, is because they trust me. But I hate Wells Fargo. Anyway, it's been an hour, and I hope you all have learned a few things today. Anyone else have any questions? I'm here for a few more minutes. Drop me a line, or feel free to message me. You can message me on YouTube, in the comments section here, or go to the website duck-deals.com. What are you drinking? Well, nothing anymore. It was just a vodka cranberry. But yeah, and I'm sure it was free in some in some way. It was free with my HEB gift cards that I got. So as long as it's free, it's approved in Duckland. Because everything can be free, and you can be successful, and you can make a really good living and enjoy all of the wonders of the entire world in your hands if you are careful and very organized. But there's really nothing stopping you, and you have a good credit limit, and you treat the banks carefully and do your thing in a way that keeps them off of your back, then yeah, there's no reason that anyone cannot do all of these things and live a fabulous life like the duck. So I hope you've learned something, and like I said, feel free to appreciate it. When's your next in-person teaching event on the East Coast? Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last one I did was in DC. That was a lot of fun. It was a great crowd. I'm not sure. If someone wants to pay me, I'm there. You know the duck. I go where there's free stuff and comps and all of that. So there will be more. And I give these seminars every 2 weeks. So I don't know. Let me know. Put it in the comments or message me what you think would be interesting for your next one. As long as it's doing anything financial, anything where you're, like I call it, financial gaming, although we're not really, gaming anything. We're just having fun with miles and points. Anything where you can sort of take money and turn it into more. Those are my favorite topics. So yeah, we could talk thrift. We can talk airlines, miles. I have to be careful about some of these trickier plays in here before I get banned by the community. But for most of these topics, I'm always happy to discuss anything that you're interested in. Of course, the gift card market. I've given talks on Amazon. There's just a lot of fun out here. And like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from them. And so I'm happy to pass some of that learning on to you as well, so you can be successful. And of course, when you're successful, you get more gift cards and you make the duck more successful, and everyone wins. And that's how it should always be. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Y'all are awesome. Have a wonderful night. I'm gonna go make another cocktail. You're welcome. All right, don't forget, gift cards. Okay, all right, I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye, y'all. Love ya.